So let's take a look. Got the car jacked up. Let's see if we can actually do this job from underneath the vehicle. Okay, so yeah, if you have a look in there, there is the resistor. 3 wires leading into the resistor, a high speed fan, low speed fan, and then the power. So ultimately, looks like there's enough cable here to be able to get it out. So if we get that down, get it out, and then we can solder in our new resistor. As I said earlier, I've opted for, rather than the barrel type resistor like this, I've opted for one similar. It's actually, they're all barrels inside, but I've opted for one with a heat sink on it, so it can capture more of the air coming back off the back of this fan. Up the back there, if you can see, that's where the fan's located, and it's easy to assume that it's your fan that is at fault, when actually this resistor, because it's under a lot of stress of heating up and cooling down over the years, they eventually fail, and you just need to swap it out rather than spend hundreds of pounds. It's literally like a couple of pounds job. Okay, let's pull it down and cut it out and have a look. Okay, it has a couple of little tabs on the back here that literally, if you push them up, they are clamped onto the framework here, and if you push that up, you literally just release it off the frame, like I've done on this side. You can see that one already sort of released off the frame. Just literally do the same over here, which I can't do with one hand, so I'll have to put the phone down, but ultimately, yeah, you just push that off and then we'll have a closer look. So there you go, literally car jacked up. These, you can see how that system clamps onto the back of the framework up here. 30 seconds, it's off. Looks like we've got sufficient wire. I maybe had to get some more wire down in order to solder it on, but we'll have a look at that in a minute. Okay, so this is how we've got on so far. Only really a couple of minutes in. Stripped back some of the wiring, as you can see, and just got prepared my ends here ready for solder. Up there, I'm not sure if you can see with this light, let's have a look. Up in the background there, you can see that there's a little plastic there. You can see that there's actually a little plastic holder that was holding the cable in. That gave me only a little bit more space, but it gave me enough room to do this from under the car. So I'm being lazy, not taking the bumper off and taking the radiator out and doing it all, which may take hours. So here's the unit I was talking about. This unit is actually a 100 watt unit, 0.5 ohms, which is what the original units are actually, 55 watt and 0.5 ohms. So this at 100 watt is just a slightly higher rated. You can see there it's got an aluminium casting around it, which may give it slightly more cooling. It's quite a lot smaller than the original unit. So what I intend to do is solder the unit on and perhaps attach it to this up here, just by maybe screwing it like that, or actually a little further in, so maybe it's a little more protected there, but it's going to get the airflow past it to keep it nice and cool. Obviously with the ends I'll be using some shrink wrap here to just shrink wrap over all of the connections after I've done a nice solder on it, and then we'll see if we can get it screwed back up in and give it a test. These are the original pretty badly corroded attachments, so what I might do is just cut that off there, because at one point there's two of these and at one point they were actually attached, and you can see there that it's just corroded off completely, but the main body of it is not in too bad condition. A light sand and a bit of spray and that'll be okay, and it actually fits quite nicely over the new unit, like so, and that just pushes on and it actually clips on because it is a cylinder type unit as well. So I may well even attempt to use these in the refit. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so as you can see, I've added a little bit of solder to either end of the resistor, and obviously as per soldering techniques I've also soldered a little bit of solder onto the end of each of these. Now what you do with this is you have the green wire soldered one side of the resistor, and the white and green wire soldered the other side. Okay, let's get soldering. Okay, as you can see, I've soldered the unit in place. Due to a sort of shortage of wiring, I've had to wire that one at an angle, and then as I said earlier, you want the green and the white in one side and the complete green in the other. What I'm going to do now is just tape these up, give them a bit more coverage. Going to put some silicone around these little joints here, and I've put a couple of little pilot holes in the side there. Due to sort of lack of cabling, I opted not to use the original fittings as I didn't really have a choice. Obviously if I'd have taken this out you can extend the wires, but like I say, I opted for the quick and easy way, and we'll do a little bit of testing in a moment once I've screwed it in and see if we've got it up and running. Using the relay points in the car, you can actually just take the relay out, jump one cable from one to the other, and it should activate the fan. So I'll test that before I bolt it all in. So this is the unit now in place. As you can see, got some neat little screws. Just screwed that tightly onto the body there, and as I said earlier, added a little bit of silicone around each joint so it's all nice and tidy. Tidied the wiring up at the back there and re-clipped it in right up at the back there at the top of the fan, where it kind of holds the wire, stops it from flapping around. Right, so we'll do a little bit of testing now. I'll show you how to test this using the relay points. Okay, so with the ignition turned on, I'm inside the car underneath the footwell. You can see here I've made a jumper cable here, just some simple connections and a bit of wire, some half decent wire so it doesn't short out on me. If you look under here, under the footwell, just above the throttle position, you can see there is these are your relays for your fans in the vehicle. Now this one is actually your interior fan. The unit I've taken out is the low speed left hand or passenger side fan, here in the UK anyway, This is your high speed for the left hand fan, and then low and high speed for your right hand fan over there. So what we want to do is jump the top and bottom connections on this, top and bottom there. That is your 30 pin to your 87, so that's your fused live to the actual device, which is the fan. So all we do with the ignition on, like I say, be careful not to touch anything once you've gone into your live, hence why I'm not going into live first. Ultimately, you literally just push that in there, and I can hear already that the fan has started to activate, and it didn't activate when I did that this morning. I only realised that the vehicle, only one of the fans was working when I'd been for a drive and it was quite warm, and the driver's side fan was working and not the passenger side. I could hear it. But if you simply go around here, the vehicle, where I put the new unit in, underneath, if you look at your front wheel, just at this section here, if you put your hand under there, you can literally feel the air blowing through. So that's your aperture there, where we did the resistor change. So that is it, simply repaired. And all done within an hour. So without just simply jacking the vehicle up, not taking the bumpers and fans out or anything like that. Very simple process, albeit a little bit fiddly. You do need to know how to obviously solder and things like that, you know, to make a neat job of it. Although, as you've seen, I haven't been too fussy over it, as it wasn't working before. When I, just out of interest, just show you on the back of the unit here, you can actually see there the numbers. So your 30 and your 87 pins. So if you're at all confused, it goes in. You can look at the others. They're all up at. That's how it goes in. 53, as you can see at the back there. So you can see there by rotating it over your 30 and your 87 pins, so you know exactly what you're doing. Okay, that's it. Simple, fixed.